We begin with a welcome. Hi. So let me begin by welcoming everybody to this Facebook Live session, and to welcome you also to the Together We Bloom webinar series. This is the third webinar in the series. And of course to welcome you to our expat Mama Village. So just know that we are very happy to have you in the group. So before I start with the topic today, let me just do a quick recap. For people that have missed the earlier webinars and maybe want to catch them in the feed, they are recordings. Just scroll down in the feed and you'll see them. So on Monday, Oscar was talking about the fourth trimester and baby wearing benefits. And then yesterday, Natalia was telling us all about low toxic lifestyle and using essential oils. And so that brings us to today and my talk, which is all about smart immunity. In fact, the title that I chose is Building a Smart Immunity with Food. So we'll dive deep into that topic in a minute. For many of you who don't know me, let me just give you a quick introduction to myself. My name is Nicole, and I am a classical homeopath and a functional medicine practitioner. I help international clients. Sorry, a bit distracted there. I help international clients with a wide variety of chronic health conditions. I help them to find answers so that they can understand why they can't get better, and I help them to recover their health and vitality. So I use mostly a clinical nutrition approach and a food-focused approach, which is why this topic about immunity and food is very close to my heart. So yes, smart immunity. What is smart immunity? So the good news is that we all have a smart immune system. We all have the potential for a smart immune system. So it really is about giving our immune systems the right environment in which to thrive and behave intelligently. So we live in a modern world, and this modern world, with all its conveniences, is also full of stresses, microbes, toxins, and such like. And all of that has the potential to impact our immune system, and the immune system can quite easily and quite often goes into overwhelm. So it's important to be very mindful of these triggers that can impact our immune systems negatively. And another reason why I chose this topic is because with the COVID-19 epidemic or pandemic that has swept across the whole world, many people have been concerned about catching the virus or spreading the virus, and understandably concerned about how to stay healthy and how to protect and boost their immune systems. So I think it's a good opportunity for everybody to learn more about your immune system so that you understand how it works and you understand the risks, but you also understand how to support your body. And yeah, that involves food, what you eat, and your lifestyle. So these are all the topics that here in the Expat Mama webinar series we're covering from different angles. So yes, let's move on to smart immunity, and I'd like to highlight the difference between having an intelligent and resilient immune system versus boosting your immune system. Because many people say that the solution at the moment is to boost your immune system, and in some cases that is the best strategy. But like I was saying before, we live in this modern world where our bodies and our immune systems are bombarded by outside triggers, and often that sends the body into a overreactive state. So people with allergies, people with autoimmune diseases, and even people with type 2 diabetes and heart disease, these are all examples of diseases where there's an element of an overreactive immune system. So, these a lot of them are so-called lifestyle diseases, and people just live with them. But essentially, boosting your immune system when you have one or more of these active diseases can often lead to complications or just not be a good approach for you. So my approach is really, especially in this time, is to help the immune system balance itself. And if you need to intervene, then intervene with foods and supplements or whatever the tool that you use, as long as it's a modulating tool. So we want a tool that's going to help the immune system balance itself. So yes, we have this smart immune system, and we just need to know how to support it so that it can behave in an intelligent way. And so an intelligent immune system, what it does is it reacts appropriately to stimuli. It reacts appropriately to infection, to toxin exposure, to stress. It is resilient over time. It bounces back, and it's also very aware of the difference between self and other. So these are all the characteristics of a smart immune system, and using certain foods, one can actually enhance that natural intelligence that our immune system has. Okay, so that's the first thing. Is I just wanted to demystify this this concept of boosting an immune system, and why for some people it can be very relevant and appropriate, but for a lot of people it's possibly going to be ineffective or even cause some complications. So, all right, let's see. So let's have a bit of an immune system 101, because understanding how to support your immune system is often related to understanding how the immune system works. So your immune system is really something that develops from day one. So the passage of the baby through the birth canal helps to inoculate good, friendly microbes into the baby, onto the baby, and that is the first step in developing a functional immune system. And then the exposure of nutrients through breast milk and the immunoglobulins that the baby receives in breast milk would be another way in which this immature immune system is taught how to behave, and essentially taught how to recognize the difference between self and other. So supporting yourself in your pregnancy with clean food, wholesome food, and I'll get more into detail about that in a second, is critical for your own health and for your baby's health. And this basically follows on, if you're breastfeeding, you really are a dairy cow, and there's nothing glamorous about it most of the time, but essentially the way you fuel your body and the quality of the fuel that you put into your body will determine the quality of your breast milk, and essentially it will determine the quality of your baby's immune system and how it matures, because those early years generally are characterized by frequent illness, and frequent illness in those early years is generally considered normal. It's a normal way in which the immune system learns to fight the bigger battles that would come later on in life. So what I mean by frequent illness is the coughs and the colds and the sniffles and the fevers and the complaints that resolve on their own or with minimal intervention. I'm not talking about the complaints that require antibiotics and hospitalization. So those are, obviously, they can happen, so early childhood is often characterized by frequent illness, and it's part of the immune system's development. It's part of the way the immune system learns how to flex its muscles. So the immune system basically is your body's personal defense force. And this personal defense force is made up of many parts. It is in fact a three-dimensional defense force. It's extremely complex, and scientists still don't understand everything. And I certainly don't understand everything, but suffice to say that we're dealing with a very complex, intelligent system with the potential to go into overwhelm and to go hyperactive and, to go rogue, or maybe parts of it go rogue. So yes, so we're back to learning about the immune system is composed of cells. It's composed of glands, or lymphatics, but it is also composed of a whole microbiome, and that microbiome is like an ecosystem of microbes, friendly microbes that basically live on our skin and in our gut, and help to inform the immune system of many things. So this is the immune system. It's this complex 3D system that behaves like a personal defense force. And so with all these different aspects, the immune system has the potential to overreact sometimes. And what helps the immune system modulate its behavior are certain components in food. So I'm a big proponent of using a plant-based and a food-based approach to health, because it is something we can control. There's so many things outside of us that we have limited control over, but what we choose to put in our mouths, we have control over, most of the time anyway. So when I'm choosing a food that is going to be a healthy food, I ask myself 3 questions. The first question I ask is this food nutrient dense? I want to know that this food is going to give me the biggest bang for my buck. So, our bodies are like a car, and they run on fuel, and food is our fuel. So if we put quality fuel into our system, we're going to get more optimal function. And in this case, it's more reaching our true immune system smart potential that we're going for. So is the food nutrient dense? And nutrient density relates to the complexity of nutrients in one food. So something like a sweet potato basically is a good carbohydrate, but it also contains other elements like soluble fiber, insoluble fiber, and if you're eating the orange and purple varieties, then you get those lovely antioxidants as well, which are the immune modulating elements that we're after here. And if we compare the sweet potato to something like oats, Oats is also another nutrient-dense food because of its fiber components and its trace mineral, vitamin and mineral components as well. And you compare sweet potato and oats to a slice of white bread, and essentially white bread is also a carbohydrate, but it is only carbohydrate. It has very little fiber, and unless it's been fortified by the bakery, it has very little trace element value. So it's these micronutrients that feed our immune system. The macronutrients are the building blocks. So the proteins, the carbohydrates, and the fats are nevertheless essential. But when it comes to immune function and helping the immune system behave intelligently, it needs other nutrients. And so it's these micronutrients, the vitamins, the minerals, and the antioxidants, especially the colourful pigments in food, in fruits and vegetables, that the immune system needs in order to either rev up or dampen down its actions depending on what the need is. So that's the first question, is this food nutrient dense? And the second question is this food clean? So what I mean by clean is, does the food contain additives? Are there preservatives? Are there colorants? Are there unnecessary additives that have been used? So a processed food, something that you buy off the shelf in a packet or a box, and maybe doesn't resemble its original source, it would be an example of a food that would not serve your immune system as well as a whole food, where you can recognize instantly that this food, it's an apple, for instance, or it's a vegetable that is recognizable in its original state. So the other thing about is my food clean is commercially grown fruits and vegetables contain pesticide residues, and so I always recommend, especially for pregnant ladies and for newborns, or not necessarily newborns, but babies of weaning age, to try to source organic produce. So the organic produce basically will have lower pesticide residues and higher nutrient density. So that is the answer to the second question, is this food clean? And the last question is this food damaged? So what I mean by damage is how's it been prepared and how's it been cooked? So you can start off with this amazing organic produce, and you can actually diminish its nutritional value if you don't know that certain cooking methods are harsher to these micronutrients than others. So cooking food at high temperatures, grilling foods, smoking foods, those are all methods that damage the antioxidants and other elements within the food. So essentially it's recommended to go for more either raw food or lightly cooked, steamed food, broiled food at lower temperatures. So that would be the answer to the third question. So one doesn't have to be a rocket scientist, a dietitian, a nutritionist. As a mother, you can use your common sense and your mother's instinct, and then just follow these simple steps in helping you choose food that's going to nourish and support the development of a smart immune system. So what I also would like to bring to the talk is the concept of creating colourful meals. So that doesn't require any formal cooking training. It just requires the desire to eat a meal that looks appealing and looks tasty. So colourful meals herald the presence of antioxidants, and they are nice to look at, and people enjoy eating things that look nice. So my recommendation is to try to include fruits and vegetables of all the colours in the rainbow every day as much as possible. Source what you can seasonally, so you'll find that certain times of the year you don't get blueberries, so we then eat sweet potatoes with a purple skin, or we have peanuts that are in a red skin. So you find that colour, for instance, in another food group. So seasonal eating will also guide you, and in terms of availability, sometimes certain colours just aren't available. So it really is about making hay when the sun shines. You eat summer foods in summer, spring foods in spring, autumn foods in autumn, and winter foods in winter. And that way one also looks forward to these wonderful natural foods that nature has to offer us. Okay, so I just want to point everybody to a couple of resources. A few weeks ago or a few days ago, I forget exactly, I posted in the group's feed a video on the human microbiome, and I love the video. It explains in a cartoon format all about the human microbiome. So for people who, for instance, are hearing about it for the first time, or maybe you know about it already, it just is a wonderful story that you can also tell your children, because telling children stories about food and why they should eat healthy food is how you get them to try new things. So I love storytelling, and especially with children and creating good habits. We have to be good role models as much of the time as possible. We're human too. So that is one resource that you'll find further down in the feed if you are looking for information about the human microbiome, which is really essential to know about when we talk about the immune system and a smart immune system. And the other resource I want to let everybody know about, I'm not sure whether I've given too much information, if it's been too technical or if it's been too simple. This is a learning curve for me, and I'd be very happy for feedback, and if you can guide me with your questions. I'm not sure, I did see there was a question earlier, but now it's disappeared. So I'll any questions that have come up that I've missed, I will definitely answer after the live session. And so if you're looking for more information, I've created a download about smart immunity and using a food-focused approach. So there's also the link that if you would like to read more about it and have a resource to work with, then that is also available. So I'd just like to end off by thanking everybody for listening, and thanking my other fellow hosts for the opportunity to share my information and share my passion about health and food and wellness. And I hope there will be many more of these to come. And just to remind everybody that on Saturday is our next session with Oksana at, let me just check, 11:30 on Saturday. Oksana will be talking about getting back in shape after childbirth. So enjoy this wonderful day, everybody, and till next time. Bye.